Hello everybody, my name is Echo and I am known as the Knitted Bean on Instagram and Ravelry as well as here on YouTube. I thought that I would show you a little bit about how I knit socks on a 9-inch circular. I received a question a little bit ago in my Ravelry inbox about how I started a toe on that, and you can't use just a 9-inch circular. You do have to use some other method. So I use sorry for the clicky toes. I use two like hat-sized size 0 ChiaoGus in magic loop type method to get going on that, and then I switch over to a 9-inch circular as fast as I can. I noticed that there's not a lot of sock knitters out there who just love the 9-inch, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to show you guys how I use it, why I love it. I find it a lot faster because I never have to slide my needles like you do in a magic loop, and I am not a huge fan of DPNs. I will use them if I have to for like closing the top of a hat. I will say I would rather use DPNs for like closing the top of the hat or something like that than say magic loop, but I'm pretty attached to my small circulars. I will change to a smaller circular to knit the majority of the crown decreases before I close the last few on DPNs. See how hot my tea is. And the answer is really hot because I just got it off the kettle, Jesus. So I'm a huge fan of like 9-inch circulars in all varieties. Like if I could use them to knit everything small, I would. So I have I don't know why, because I wanted to, but I hate colorwork. I have a colorwork sock, which is also cuff down, and I'm not a big fan of cuff down. Going on, this is just some Clover from Joann's 9-inch circulars. These are the first 9-inch circulars I've tried, and honestly, I still like them for some things. I am using them on this because they're a size 1, and I like to go up a size for my color work on socks to make sure that it's still gonna go over my big chunky heel. And so these are actually being knit on, and you'll see me show it off below, Hiya Sharps 9-inch circular, which I just got. I don't know how much of a fan of this I am. I love the sharp tip. And I'm not afraid of poking myself because I do actually wear a leather thimble the entire time that I knit on the finger that tends to come into contact with pokey ends, because even on bamboo and ChiaoGu, I tend to push that needle real hard and I knit for long stretches of time and I get quite the bruise. And I've stabbed myself with a size 0 sock needle before, whether it was wood or stainless steel ChiaoGus. So I just wear protection. It's safer. It's like safe sex, only it's safe knitting. I just got this, I think it was MCN Creations on Etsy. You can get any color, any thickness, any size. You measure right around just above your fingernail bed and they hand make it and send it to you. I have had this one particular thimble for, I want to say, at least 5 or 6 months now, and it's still going strong. It's starting to get a little bit to where if I get real dehydrated, it seems like it'll slip off, but they actually send you a spare piece of leather that you can slide inside around your finger so that if it stretches out too far or if you lose weight, you can still make it fit, which is lovely. And they're only $7.99, so it's worth it. I've used the Clover one with the little coin in the front. I didn't like it. It only comes in 1 or 2 sizes. They don't fit that well. And for me, within 3 or 4 weeks, it was so stretched out that I could not keep it in my finger. So I will definitely be ordering another one of these, or 2 or 3, not because it's worn out, but because this is the one notion that I have that I cannot seem to hold on to. I use it every time I knit, and I will be knitting and I'll stop to get up to do something in the kitchen, and then I will come back and I will look at my husband and I'll be like, and he's like, did you lose it again? Really? And I'm like, it's gotta be around here somewhere. And I'll find it on the kitchen counter. I'll find it stuffed in a knitting bag, and I would love to be able to stick one of these in like every knitting bag I have, just so I can quit trying to track it down. So the Hiya Sharp Point, that doesn't concern me at all. What does kind of concern me, and I don't know that I love about this, and I tried to show it on the inset video, is that it flattens out right before the join. So you have a round plastic cable, and then it turns flat, and then it joins, and it makes it very, very bendable. And that's great for being able to like do this. That's terrible for being able to do this too, because I'm afraid that's gonna wear out and break really quick. Whereas you'll see me using a ChiaoGoo red lace one, which is another one of my favorites. And I don't feel like that sucker will ever break. It has a nice memory-free red cord, which works perfectly. And yeah, and then on the little ones, these, you know, bamboo ones from Joann's, they have a plastic cord that has a ton of memory, but it's always in a circle, so it doesn't matter. So I tend to, when I, you know, the big thing that I hear people talk about is that there's nowhere to put your fingers, and they feel like they're knitting with 2 fingers. So I actually use the fabric. So I grasp the fabric in between my pinky and my ring finger on my left hand, and then I place my middle finger inside and my thumb on top, and that is how I actually hold the knitting. I'm not actually holding the needle at all. And then I kind of move my thumb up and pinch the needle between my thumb and my forefinger. So I'm holding the knitting and pinching the needle, and then I just pinch the needle between my thumb, my middle, and my forefinger on this hand, and I manipulate my yarn with my pinky and ring on the other hand. And I never learned how to do color work right. I've mentioned that before. Like, I just picked it up and winged it on my own. So I hold them both in one hand. I run the strings through my pinky and ring, and then I put my middle finger in to separate the colors. And so I only ever move my right hand needle, and I put my right needle through, and then I just alternate which yarn is being knitted. So a lot of times as I'm knitting, I actually stick the needle through, and then I let go entirely and the needle stays. And I hook the right yarn, or the only yarn if I'm only working with one, around, and then I push off. So that's how I do it. I love it because my hand isn't cramped up. It's just holding the whole sock. And I don't have small hands for a woman. I actually have kind of medium-ish, large-ish hands with short fingers, stubby hands. So, I don't have petite hands. I wear like a size 10 or something ring. So, that's my gig. I like it. I can't imagine knitting socks any other way. German short row heel and every other kind of heel I knit on the 9-inch loop. I don't have a sock that is at that place, or I would show you how I do it. I do have a sock that is at the point of toe up, going from making the toe on 2 shorter circulars and then going on to the 9-inch from there. And so I do have some footage of how I do that, and I'll show you that. But basically when I do a German short row, I always do 2 stitch markers, my beginning of round and then my middle of round, so to mark my instep and my, whatever you would call the top of your foot, and I can't think of it now. And so what I'll do when I get there is I'll leave my instep stitches static, and I just knit back and forth over my heel stitches until I've completely made the heel, and then I start going all the way around again. So I just stop for the time of the heel, and for the time of the heel I'm just knitting flat essentially, and turning the work back and forth with the other stitches static on the back of the needle, and that's it. Any questions? Let me know. Drop me a line. I laughed when so the video of me knitting actually is recorded separately because I'm not that coordinated and I don't have 2 cameras. And I laughed because I don't think I've knitted like on camera, like with a camera pointed directly at my hands ever before. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of anxious. Wow, I have knitting performance anxiety. So I like drop a stitch and I'm like shaky, like, I mean, part of that might just be that I needed to eat or something, but too, I just thought it was funny because these people who do these all the time, like very pink knits, she's just like, no big deal. And here is Bean, and I'm just like, oh, wow, I normally knit like 3 times as fast. No, so, you know, you get a much slower speed, many more mistakes than normal Bean knitting, but you get to see how I hold it, and you get to see the different tips on the bamboo, the Hiya Hiya Sharp, and then the ChiaoGoo red lace. They are all 9 inches. There is a brand that has an 8-inch circular, and I can't think of who it is right now. I'll try and put it in the down bar, but I haven't tried it because, to be honest with you, I always knit a 72 stitch on my 9-inch on zeros because I like that really tight fabric, or if it's something like color work or I want it to be really plush, sometimes I'll knit a 72 or a 64 on a 9-inch. I would say though, if you are somebody who knits a 54 stitch sock, you might look at that 8-inch circular, because I know for me, you'll see in the inset, the sock that I am putting on to my ChiaoGoo red lace 9-inch, I transfer it over, and I typically do at 64 stitches. And then I continue my increases up to 72 because I like to get it over there as soon as I can. And I feel like 64 is about as soon as you can reasonably get it on there and still be able to move the knitting around. And in my experience, when you do it at 64, it's really tight. And as you move up the sock, it loosens up because you have that extra fabric behind it, and it gets much easier to move around the stitches at 64. But I think at 56, it would be kind of a tight fit, and you might really benefit from just having that 1 inch shorter. So if I were knitting like socks for somebody with really petite, thin feet, it might not hurt to have that 8-inch needle like in your bag. It's probably 12 bucks. That's the other thing that I love about these. They're all like 10, 12 bucks at your local knitting store, online, wherever you want to pick them up. I have so many. I have in zeros. I still swear I have 2 ChiaoGoos. I just can't find the other one. And then now I have the Hiya Hiya, and I have 2 bamboo And then I have probably the same number, except for the Hiya in ones. And then I only have one set of 2 Bamboo 1s and 2s because I literally never use a US 2. To me, that is just ginormous. That is like, I don't know, knit a sweater on it too out of sock yarn. 2 or 3, that's just huge. You don't use that for socks, maybe like DK weight. So that's what I've got. Hopefully it gives you a chance to see somebody using them, and you can laugh at all my like drop stitches and goofy like, oh, I can't catch my stitch because why am I filming myself doing this? And you get a chance to see me do something besides podcast, just this one. So I don't know that I'll do too many of these, but I just know that I feel like the 9-inch circular deserves more love than it gets, and so I'm gonna put it out there. Anyway, have a lovely day. If you liked the video, if you want to see more of these, let me know, but feel free to subscribe, find me on Instagram, say hello on Ravelry, drop me a comment, any and all of that stuff. I do really like it. It really boosts my day and makes me feel good. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.